to Fandom Family Chats. Today we're talking about Sweet Magnolias, episode 1 and 2. I'm joined with Maureen.
Hello.
Amanda.
Hello.
Jeanette.
Hello.
And Eve.
Hey.
Let's get started.
Who wants to go first? We're talking episodes 1 and 2.
Well, Amanda has 18.
I have the notes.
So
I know I'm here for a reason.
I have copious notes on episode 1. I rewatched it a week ago, so I know what's happening. I just don't know where episode 2 ends and episode 3 begins.
yeah, same.
They all blur for me.
When they put it on Netflix and you watch them all together, how are you supposed to know what's what?
Yeah,
I
that's
know.
really irresponsible of Netflix to do that.
Hey, don't make them stop. I don't have to wait. You shush.
The one thing I wanted to point out is that in that intro that they have, I
Mhm.
love the art and the music. I love it.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
so pretty, and the music is so like, I want to move to Georgia now.
Oh, Elena, recently, I don't know if you all saw this. Elena just decided to watch Sweet Magnolias, and I was like, it's okay because it's fairly wholesome. So she watched it, and she is obsessed with the song. Like she replays it just like she does with Gilmore Girls, so she can sing along. Like she's been putting on captions so she can learn the words and she can sing along with it. That's really cute.
That's smart.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
No, this is my third time watching it now just because it blends together for me. So I had to actually go back and watch episode 1 and 2 to make sure we weren't talking about episode 7.
Because I'm pretty sure all of us could tell you what happens throughout the entire season.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like without missing a beat.
Absolutely.
But I have it all written down just in case.
Good.
And I mean, I even have quotes in here.
Me too.
I do.
Oh,
I was really excited and loud. I'm sorry.
someone did our homework.
I don't know. I came into the office and I just put it on and I was like, nobody bothered me.
That's nice.
I mean, that's a very rare thing to happen in this house. So I took full advantage. I have 5 pages of notes and this is stupid. Okay. So we start out at the divorce. I don't know if it was a mediation or
I
here.
think they were just the divorce proceedings. I think they were just continuing with it.
Yeah. So we start there.
that scene.
Cal looks like a complete coward to me. He's all hunched over.
He's so awful.
That's the moment I decided I hated Bill.
Yeah, I agree.
And my opinion did not change from there.
No.
Really? No. And I kept thinking they were gonna make him like, I don't know, be a person.
I wonder if next season we're going to a little bit because I feel like at the end, I don't want to because I don't like him at all. But I don't know. It's so funny. Elena she's like hates him. Like there's not one redeeming quality in this man.
No.
Like I'm always the person that tries to find. I mean, that's just who I am. You guys know this. Like I'll try to find something good in someone.
Well, secretly
She's
hoping
like,
they remain
no.
toxic.
Yeah, she doesn't care. She thinks he's terrible. So
Well,
like
because-
she's right.
He
After the
is.
first scene, he only gets worse because in the first scene, you don't know why they're getting a divorce. You just
Yeah.
trying to rip the house out from them, and then you find out why. Like, I already hated you, man. I didn't think you could get any worse.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It's such a selfish thing to do. I mean, like it'd be one thing if it was just him and Maddie, but like your children live there and have grown up there and they're already going through so much. And then to make them leave their childhood home, I mean, that's just cruel.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just
And you know the money was going to support the new baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I get. You got to support your kids. I get that. But
Yeah.
what about the
I mean,
3 you already have who are going to get that
Mhm.
message? They're old enough to get the message loud and clear that dad is selling us off
Yeah.
for a new family.
I mean, I do think he should support his new child, but at the same time, like that's on you to figure that out.
Yeah.
Not
They
at the
shouldn't have to
expense
pay
of
for it.
not the expense of, his
Exactly.
other 3 kids. I mean,
Exactly.
they don't deserve to go without just because, he knocked up his secretary. Is that what she was?
Nurse.
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 Yeah.
Whatever.
Nurse.
What did you
That's
say? Whatever.
Closer to what did Cal no, who's the coach or helper guy?
Cal.
No, not Cal.
Harold
Cal's
or
helper.
Harlan.
Oh,
Was it Harlan?
Harlan. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah.
Harlan.
What did he say? No, man. It went away.
Mm.
What did he say? They were standing out in the field.
Yep, when he was telling Kyle what happened. I
Yeah.
don't remember what he called her either.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
But I do
But I
know
remember it stuck out to me.
that what Maggie said to him stuck out to me so much that I had to write it down. When she said, "You aren't worth the skin God spent to wrap your bones in. You best pray he doesn't regret his investment as much as I regret mine."
Yes.
I love it.
Yes. And then when she went outside, when she apologized to Helen, Helen's like, "Don't you dare apologize to me. That was the most magnificent thing I've ever seen."
Mhm.
I love
You
Helen.
know,
Do you love
Southerners
all-
just seem to have like the best comebacks like that. Like I could never in a million years come up
Oh,
with that insult just off the top of my head.
That's what I was getting ready to ask. Like, if you all like love, because I love all these little sayings as like so much. Because I mean, I've heard like, I mean, there's some of theirs are a little far fetched, but I mean, I've heard a lot of stuff very, very similar to it my entire life. That's just
never
how we
heard any of
talk
these
around here.
things.
Yeah. I think it's a Southern thing.
It is.
Very
I love
quick-witted.
it. I mean, I couldn't do it, but you know, I can appreciate it.
It's always so polite, even when you're insulting someone. That's what's so fun about it. You
Yeah,
know,
like you hear it and you're like, oh, that's so polite. Wait a minute, that was really mean.
Oh,
Exactly.
bless your heart.
It's an art.
But that was said in two different ways. When Helen said it to Maddie, it was obviously in love.
Mhm.
But later on in episode 2, when Mary Vaughn says it to Helen, it's clearly.
It's basically the equivalent of FU sometimes. It
Oh.
very well.
Oh
can.
yeah,
Yes.
you could
It just-
absolutely get
yeah.
that.
It just depends on how you use it.
Most of the time, it is a big fu.
Yeah, it's like you're so stupid. Like bless your
Yeah.
heart. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
it's like
whole
I
different
feel very
language.
sorry for you being you. I am
Yeah.
very sorry about that. That's what it means.
That's what it means.
Shelby, were you going to say something?
Yeah, going back to what you guys were talking about like the money being used for the new baby and like the other 3 kids and stuff. I feel like that's where the hate that Ty has for his dad kind of comes from. 'Cause I feel like in a way he's old enough to see through the BS, whereas Katie's still like, oh, he's my daddy, and you know,
Yeah.
like he still comes around for me, and she still gets excited when he comes around, and like I don't know if Kyle's oblivious or if he just isn't
Yeah.
really old enough to see it
I
yet
think
or
it's-
what, but like
think
Kyle
he
definitely, I
feels.
mean Ty definitely sees it.
Yeah. I think for Kyle, it's more of, I think he just wants attention. And so, I mean, he just needs it and he'll just take it in any way he can get it. I mean, he's sort of your typical middle child, I think, that just feels
And he-
left out all the time.
He likes Noreen. Like he wants that connection with Noreen.
He's a kind-hearted, I think he's just such a kind-hearted person that,
Yeah.
he's my favorite. Like,
And
I love him so much.
and you know, Noreen is giving him more love and attention than his own father is, and he's noticing that. So I think that's why
Yeah.
has, you know, that respect for her.
Yeah.
Or
love
I don't
Noreen.
know. I don't know if you can call it respect, but you know, he likes her at least.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wait, what,
so-
Shelby? I was waiting for Shelby to say what she said because I didn't hear.
Go ahead.
I love him and Noreen's relationship.
Yeah.
Me
Me too.
And you can tell that scene where she comes to pick him up instead of Bill, that the
Mhm.
whole reason Kyle like tries to be her friend is because he recognizes himself in her.
Yeah.
Where everyone's like,
Yeah.
Ty's like, I'm not going. He doesn't even look at Noreen when he says that. He just
Yeah.
looks at Maddie and goes upstairs. And Katie gives her a dirty look. I'm staying with Ty.
Mhm.
And then Maddie is obviously, I'm not gonna make my kids go with you. She's
Yeah.
not being mean necessarily, but it's clear she
not.
doesn't like Noreen. It's clear that she has an issue with her. And I think Kyle kind of felt like that's how he feels. He feels ignored and he feels ostracized all the time. And that's why he
Mhm.
pushed forward with Noreen. And I think that was the basis of why that connection came about. I think that's why Noreen was so nice to him, because he's the only one in the entire town, including her fiance, who is putting any
Yeah.
effort into Noreen.
Yeah.
She rewards it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Definitely. That was I guess I feel for Noreen. And I shouldn't.
I do and I don't.
It's one of those things like you shouldn't feel for
I
her because
do.
she's the other woman. But again, she's young and naive.
Yeah, I would agree with
And you know, she's got herself in the situation. I feel like she's just making the best of the situation she's
Yeah.
gotten herself into.
that. Yeah. I mean,
She tries too hard.
yeah. For me, it's like, I mean, obviously I feel for how she's feeling. Her feelings are very validated, absolutely. But at the same time, I'm like, you sort of made your bed and this is this is what it is. And you can't, I mean, there are times when she annoys me, like when she gets upset at him for not putting her above his kids. And I'm like, that shouldn't happen. Like his kids should be more important than you. They're his children.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Mhm.
Yeah. There's a few times where she annoyed me with her.
Yeah.
Like even in the, what was that, the first episode where she's trying to cheer him on at this game.
Gosh,
You know, I
that's
think
First episode.
it was either the first or second. I watched it
Must have been
today.
the second.
Second.
Was it the second? Really?
Yeah, I have it separated in my notes.
Man.
It was towards the end of the second, in the last 20 minutes.
Well, that's why it's so fresh in my head.
that scene is so cringy. I don't know. It drives me nuts.
That
But,
one does. It does. I mean, we're talking about episode 2 tonight anyways. I don't care.
yeah.
I actually have in my notes at one point, how does Noreen not get that this is a problem for those kids?
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was wondering, because I was like, does she not have a brain? It's like, I get that she can't help the situation that she's currently in, but she does have the power to give Bill and Maddie space and deal with
Yeah.
their kids, because that's awkward. I saw her at the game. I was like, oh my gosh, she's not really there, is she?
I mean,
Well, I mean, it's
she
go ahead.
can't help the situation she's in now, but she certainly could have helped it before it started.
That's
Yeah.
true.
So I have a real hard time feeling sympathy for that, because when she started having this affair, she knew he was still married.
Mhm.
Knew he had 3 kids. She knew they were a God-fearing family. She knew that they went to church. She knew that they lived in a small town. She knew all of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And she still chose to ignore all the signs.
Mhm.
I mean, if it has to carry on in secret, it probably shouldn't be happening.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
And that's, you know, I don't know. All of that. I mean, like you can't really, I mean, expect, I mean, you slept with a married man and you have like, I feel like she doesn't have any compassion for the trouble that she's caused.
Yeah, it's not like she came into the picture after, it's not like Maddie and Bill got divorced and then a year goes by and now they're together.
Yeah.
Like,
that
Even
was-
a
she's
week
trying
after
hard
they got
to
divorced.
be in their lives. Like she's trying to insert herself into this family's lives after she essentially just kind of, you know,
Mhm.
tore that foundation down.
Mhm.
Yep.
I'm going to jump ahead just for a minute, just to prove a point. There's an episode later on when she says, he's my son, and I wanted to punch her in the throat.
Oh, I know.
Nope.
Me too.
Then,
Nope.
yeah,
Yeah, I didn't
I want
like
to cheer
that.
for our son. I'm like, no, he's not your son.
Nope.
Yeah.
No.
And
Well,
that's
doesn't she say sorry, no, I was gonna say, did she say something about like he's our son or something, his mother should be there, and like and Bill's like his
Her
mother
mother
is gonna be there.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then she got mad. Like, how dare you? Like,
Yep. She's
He
very
has a mother. It's like he has a mother and she's not you. Like,
Yeah.
she
mean, you're
just
gonna
she acts like she's 12.
Yeah.
husband just brought
Half
me a
the time.
virgin margarita.
Ooh.
Yeah. I
oh,
was gonna drink my wine tonight, but I'm too sleepy. I was like, I can't do it. There's no way. So next time I'll have a margarita.
Next time we'll pour it out.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to pour it out. I'll be
Well,
better than
here.
all y'all. Ha!
There you go.
You hear what I did there?
Cheers.
Did I sound
Cheers.
Southern for a second?
Cheers.
What did you
sorry.
say? Say it again.
Crap.
Sorry. I didn't hear
I
it.
distracted her.
I said, I'm better than all y'all.
Oh, look at you.
It was a decent y'all, you know?
Yeah.
Look, it just flowed. I didn't even notice it.
That's as good as a Northerner's going to get with that word.
You all realize that, like, I'm sure you all see, I put it in my text. I'm constantly
Yeah.
like, y'all, and I'm
Me too.
like, I can't even help but write it.
It's just a lazy way of saying it.
Of saying a really improper you all.
Yeah.
You I mean, you
No, I
guys say
think
you
it's- I think it's-
guys.
I think it's a prettier
You
way
guys
of
say?
saying you all.
Yeah.
Sounds
You
a
can
lot
just
y'all
shorthand
sounds a
it.
lot better than you all.
Y'all.
Y'all.
It's just
It's-
easier. It just rolls off the
Also-
tongue better.
And it
Yeah,
sounds
yeah, like I'll
better.
say y'all like out loud, but I don't put it in text. Like it just looks weird to me in text, but I will say it.
It felt really unnatural for me to say it. I don't think I've ever said it out loud before.
I say it like 10 times a day at least. So
Yeah, exactly.
I say oop. That's my word. Or the
Oh yeah,
when you're
that's
coming to
that's a
Santa-
Wisconsin
sorry.
thing.
Whoop, sorry. Whoop. That's what I say.
That's just very Wisconsin-y of you.
Wisconsin.
I mean, what do you want?
I can
Okay,
see
Shelby's gonna
Shelby's
yell at
face.
us again.
Yeah, she wants us to get back on track. I
I
can
want credit for this because I was just gonna say back onto the show. I'm with you, Shelby. I'm
I
reading your
beat
facial expression.
you.
Good job, Maureen. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I need accolades and attention, please, because I'm the Kyle of this podcast. Which just means I'm super talented but ignored. So anyway, when Noreen goes to pick, or one thing I wanted to point out is when they go to the office, when they're in Bill's office.
Yeah.
But when they go to the office and you see obviously a very pregnant Noreen, and it's funny to me because people in the town talk badly about Noreen and ostracize her. In the doctor's office, they don't. It's Bill that they ostracize.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, if you're going to be mad at the dude for cheating, or if you're going to be mad at the girl who has cheated with the married guy, you have to be equally mad at the married guy.
I think
And
you have
vice
to be
versa.
more.
If you're going to be super mad at the married guy, then you also have to be mad at the girl who
Yeah.
helped him cheat. I mean, it wasn't like they tripped and they connected. I mean, it was intentionality behind that. It was a decision. It's not like you can just Wisconsin your way out of that. It was something you decided to do.
Mm-hmm.
But when they go
Sometimes
in,
it happens, okay?
And Bill, and like Bill too is the one, like, it's a small town. Like, I'm assuming Bill is the one that everyone knows the most. So
Oh,
you
yeah.
think
Noreen's
that
from
everyone should be more disappointed in him because they know him and he let
Yeah.
all those people down, and they're just ostracizing Noreen. It's like, well, yeah, maybe she deserves it, but so does Bill.
Well, they're doing it to Bill too.
Yeah.
They are. Because he's
just
losing
seems like-
patience.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like it just at the very beginning, at least, it seems like it's
Yeah.
more, it's like Noreen's getting more of it.
I think that's
Yeah.
because in the very beginning we focus on the family.
Mm-hmm.
Shelby, you were going to say something?
Yeah, the one thing that like I think of like with this show kind of with Noreen and Bill is kind of the song Famous in a Small Town by Miranda Lambert. Like it basically says like no matter what you do, like when you live in a small town, like word's gonna get around and you're gonna be famous no matter what you do. If you do something stupid, if you do something good, like, and that kind of resonates with this because like everyone's basically, with it being a small town, everyone's pretty much taking sides. They're all on Maddie's side by what it seems like because Bill did her wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And like they're all not afraid of showing that they're on Maddie's side either. Now the one person though that like when they were at church, the one thing I felt a little bit bad for her because like she was talking about how like it was such a beautiful church and that she wanted to get married there, and Bill was like it wouldn't be appropriate, and like you could just see like the disappointment in her face, and like I understand where he's coming from, but at the same time like I don't know, it's a wedding, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I totally
think, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I mean, I totally agreed with him. I mean, if he had tried to marry her in the same church where his wife is a member, that would have been like the most disrespectful thing I can think of.
Well, my thinking is that he probably married Maddie in that church.
Mm-hmm.
And he knows that would not be appropriate to one, marry her in
No.
Not his wife's church, but also or his ex-wife's church, but also a church that he already married his first wife in.
Yeah.
It's bad taste.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it would be different if like we had talked about, like they'd gotten together after him and Maddie split up. Then that's, I mean, I still don't know if I would do it, but that wouldn't be as big of a deal. But
Yeah.
she's the reason that their marriage ended. So.
And a part of her too doesn't really seem to get that she has to accept the consequences. And one of the consequences is anything we do is going to, is going to be inappropriate. It's going to make people feel awkward. And she doesn't really seem to get that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, neither does Bill
Better.
either, really.
No.
Because even in the doctor's office, when his partner, who I love his partner, who
I love him
happens
too.
to be good friends with Helen.
Yeah.
But when he says, how does he word it? He says something along the lines of, yeah, well, it's affecting our business. And he's like, well, it's not anybody else's business. They shouldn't care.
It's everybody's business in that town.
In a
He
small
knows it.
town, especially when you're born and raised there and you go off to school and you come back to that same town to live and set up your life and your practice,
Mhm,
everyone is connected.
mhm.
I mean, it's just a tiny town. You got connections everywhere. So yeah, you're right. What you do should be your business, but you can't expect people to look at you the same way as if you've done nothing wrong
Right.
ever.
It's what happens when you live in a small town.
Mhm.
Everyone's up in everyone's business.
And Bill
Yep.
says, I was just trying to do the right thing by Noreen. Well, the right thing probably would have looked a whole lot different. I mean, if you were that concerned about the right thing, why did you sleep with her when you were married?
Exactly.
After the fact, it's a little late to be worried about the right thing.
Right.
He
Yeah.
doesn't get it. He thinks that, well, no one should care what I do.
Right.
And
And if you
even
met this woman and let's say you had a connection, you fell in love with her. Okay. I mean, at that point you divorce your wife. You don't start something prior to, doing that. I mean, an
Yeah.
affair is wrong no matter how you want to spin it. Like,
Mhm. And look how many people it devastated.
mhm,
A
Yeah.
little late to worry about the right thing.
exactly.
And then when on the church point, the pastor, who I love that pastor. She's one of my favorite characters. She's right up there.
Oh
with
yeah, I
Ellen.
love her.
Mhm.
And when she gives her sermon, I'm like taking notes. Like, ooh, that's good. But when they're at the church and she greets Bill, Noreen has to say, "I'm Noreen," and the pastor just looks at her for a minute. She's like, "Bill's fiance," and she goes, "Oh," so
Yeah.
like Bill doesn't even go to church. He doesn't go
Right.
back. He doesn't, and yet he expects that everyone's going to look at him as if he still does all the same things.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Speaking of Pastor June, I really love that scene because like she's genuinely nice to
Yeah.
Bill and Noreen.
Mhm.
Even though, it's not like some sort of fake, like I have to do this because I'm, the minister or whatever, but it's genuine. And I really just appreciated that about her. So I like her too.
And what I really remember about that scene is the way she held Noreen's hand.
Mhm,
Like she cupped it in both hands.
mhm.
Yeah.
It was almost like she lives in that town.
Yeah.
And what happened isn't all that distant in the past. It's
Right.
obviously a recent thing. So I think some part of her had to know who
Oh,
this
yeah.
is. But she didn't want them to feel
Mhm.
as everyone else made them feel.
Right.
Yeah.
You wanted them to know that, especially as a pastor, what you did, you're still loved. I'm not going to shame, judge, or anything to you because I understand what it means to sin and mess up and come back, and you're still loved. And I love that part.
Mhm.
I thought that was great.
Let's see. Do we want to dig into a little bit of Ty or Annie loving Ty and Kyle loving Annie and
What a big mess that is.
Cece
God.
liking Ty and
I love.
Well, and then what's her name? Nellie comes into the picture too. And then it's like, oh wait, now it's a love square.
Whew.
Well, let's be honest. Nellie and Kyle are much more suited than Annie and Kyle are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Partly because
Yeah.
I love Kyle, I love Logan, and I love how Logan plays his character. But Kyle is extremely oblivious to every single emotion Annie has. At
yes.
any time.
Yeah.
When they're walking to
Yeah.
school, I love that scene when all three of them are walking to school. One, it's through a graveyard.
Yeah.
Did anyone else get like Hocus Pocus vibes when they were doing that?
Yes. That's why I wrote it down.
The opening scene when they're going to school and it's oh my gosh, can't remember their names. But the brother and sister are
Yeah.
walking through the graveyard to get to school. And so I got that feel, and it's kind of like
I
small
can't
town.
remember their names. That
That's gonna
bothers me
drive
that
you
I can't
insane.
remember their names. I'm gonna have to look it up. Annie and Max. Thor Birch is like one of my favorite actresses from the 90s. I don't know why I don't remember this. Okay.
But I do like how they have they're all getting along perfectly. Like it's very platonic across, which is weird because they have brotherly love, they have romantic love, they have crushes. So there's like 4 different kinds of love amongst those 3 as they're walking in the cemetery. But
Yep.
it feels very light. It feels very platonic. It feels very free. And then they get to school, and did Kyle? He looked at Annie. How did he not see how she was looking at Ty?
I
He's
know.
oblivious. He's young and in love, and he's not seeing anything else.
But there's another scene in episode 2, I think, after the kids' parents. Yeah, it's episode 2 after the kids' parents die.
Mhm.
Kyle runs up to her after school to talk to her, and she's very clearly going through something.
Yeah.
And Kyle's just like, "Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do." I love him, but he does not catch on to any emotion that girl feels. None.
I think that's what I love about him, because I think he plays like a 15-year-old boy so perfectly. And
Yeah.
probably because I think he was probably about that age when they filmed. So I mean, he plays it just really perfect. He doesn't see anything she's feeling. He's only focused on how much he loves her. And I mean, obviously, I don't think he actually loves her, but I think he thinks he does, you know.
He's infatuated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's 15 years old and he's stupid.
I mean, yeah.
That was part of the talk my mom gave us when we were growing up. Boys are stupid. They have been and they always will be stupid. Ask your father, he will tell you boys are stupid.
I love that.
I think there's also a level of
though.
like with Noreen,
Mhm.
Annie's been the only one he's ever had who's paid attention to him. I mean, Kyle doesn't seem to have a ton of friends,
Right.
and he hangs out with Annie all the time. Of course, there's probably going to be some sort of, when I was that age, if there was a guy, I remember there was a boy, I still remember his name, but I'm not going to say it out loud. I'll say his name was Justin Stens.
Say it.
And he held the door open for me going into Spanish too.
Oh,
I like you. I've been to school with this kid my entire life, and I did not have a single crush on him until he opened a door for me. Like, that's it. We're gonna get married. All right.
No.
That's it.
he's the one.
Like, I remember feeling that when you're around someone for so long and you get along so well and they care about you, it's easy to confuse that. And I think that's part of what it was. But I think, like with Noreen, I think she gave him a voice. And he really was desperate. And I think that's why he just do all the time, because he really wanted to be heard.
Yeah.
Mhm. Let's actually jump into Dana Sue, because we haven't really spoken. So after the divorce hearing, they head over to Sullivan's.
That drink sounds awesome.
What drink?
The drink she makes for celebration that she chains into a statement of intent.
Yeah. So they have the drinks. They mention the spa. And Maddie does not seem very interested.
But the interesting thing is that Helen and oh, good Lord.
Dana.
Ellen
and Dana Sue have clearly talked about this already. They're clearly in on the business plan. They clearly already know, okay, Maddie's coming, but we're just going to hide it.
Yeah.
But Helen is the one who's saying, no, Dana Sue, shut up.
Yeah.
She was just with her, so she understands, like, this is not the time.
This is not the time to bring it up to her.
Yeah.
And it probably really wasn't the best time.
Clearly, she had a very forceful reaction to it.
Yeah, exactly. So after that, after they leave, the whiskey goes, she notices the whiskey's missing. What do we think about Brad?
Whoa.
He's terrible.
He's worse than
Yeah.
Bill. Maybe that was too forceful of a statement. But
No,
he's up
he
there.
gave me super duper creepy vibes.
Yeah. I actually thought he was going to be more creepy than he was. Based
I
on the
did
vibes
too.
I got.
And I was just, when I was watching it today, I was like, I wonder if that's like the end of it, or if that's going to be coming back in season 2.
I don't think they finished with like the lawsuit with him, because he hit her with the
Yeah.
lawsuit. I don't think Helen was working on getting rid of it, but I don't think they did.
Yeah.
I laughed when he brought up that lawsuit. I was like, this is hysterical. Like, he was drinking on the job.
Right.
My
So,
note on
like,
that,
what proof does she have?
yeah. What, Shelby?
And I mean, also, technically, he was stealing their products too, because he was there after the clock making food and stuff, which I'm assuming he didn't like just go by the grocery store to experiment.
No.
No.
I'm guessing it was stuff that she had in the freezer or whatever. So that's stealing technically too, isn't it?
Yeah. He
Yeah.
came out of her freezer or out of her fridge with it.
And
And he sold over $1,000 worth of her liquor.
yeah. I mean, and he's working off the clock, which, I mean, I know here in Texas, like, you can't do that.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Because
so
that's
she's telling
technically
him,
like, that's technically like a breaking and entering. You don't have approval to be there. I
Right.
mean, yes, you used a key to get in, but you were told to go. Your shift was done. You were told to leave at the end, and you came back, stole product, and accosted the owner of the proprietor of the place.
yeah, drunk.
What
I
felt-
mean,
go ahead,
if he hurt himself
mm-hmm.
while there, that-
super big lawsuit.
yes.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
she did the right thing.
And I think the first, go ahead, Shelby.
I had like in big capital letters, Dana Sue is a badass.
Yeah.
Like how she, and I mean, if you want to cut that out, you can, but like just because of how she talked to him and like she pretty much told him where to go.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And the nicest possible way. And then like on top of that, like even later on, like in the episode when someone keyed her car, like she's seen that guy in the hoodie in the street, and like she told Andy to go back inside, and like she was ready to deal with it herself.
Mm-hmm.
Like she looks all cool and calm and collected, but like you look at her face and you're like, ooh, she's not messing
Like,
around.
she's not playing.
Well, even
Yeah.
with Brad, when he accosted her, she was afraid, but she knew that she could not back down to him.
Mhm.
Yeah.
When he came at her and she said, "Don't touch me," but she did take a couple steps back.
Oh yeah.
But so there's she's able to stay level-headed when she's afraid, which is very difficult to do.
Yeah.
He's my hero.
But when we first see Brad, he's trying to discipline and shame Dana Sue in front of the entire staff. It's the
Yeah.
very first thing we see him. When she comes out, he says,
Oh.
"Oh, nice of you to join us, chef."
Yeah, I was like,
owns
who the
the
heck
place,
are,
man? She's your boss.
I was like, who the heck are you?
That was so
And then-
cringy.
Yes. And then when he's talking about the catfish, she's like, "Well, I wanted to poach it, but I guess you won't let me be great, and I guess that you suck at cooking." So, and then when she brings up the liquor, he's like, "Come on, guys, that doesn't happen in a well-run kitchen." Like,
Still blaming it on her. Yeah.
but he's also trying to put himself above her. Like he
Mhm.
wants everyone to respect him over her, and he's actively trying to undermine her. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Narcissist vibes.
Yeah,
That's what I was gonna say exactly. I was like,
I'm
he's
glad
good.
she found I'm glad she found a really good reason to fire him,
Mhm.
Yeah.
other than you're an asshole and I don't want to work with you.
And
Which-
he did say to her that night, "You quelch my creativity because you're jealous."
Yeah.
What, subpar cooking and an alcohol problem?
Being the freaking sous chef. I mean,
Ooh, I'm so
he's the
jealous.
owner of the restaurant.
Right.
And like Shelby said, she's a badass. And
Yes,
don't mess with
absolutely.
Dana Sue.
And she called him out. And that's the great thing about this is he doesn't have a leg to stand on because she literally called him out on everything. "You're not drunk. Being drunk doesn't happen in my kitchen. That is not your food. You stole my liquor. I'm asking you to leave. You're not leaving." Like she went through and systematically listed to him every reason he was being fired before actually firing him.
Mhm.
What a smart way to do that.
Mhm.
Because there has to be cameras in the kitchen because that's where all the
I
cash
would think
is.
so. Yeah.
And honestly, too, I mean, I don't know. In my opinion, obviously his cooking and stuff wasn't that good because she was like amazed by what Eric, right? That's his name.
Yeah.
Eric,
was like sending out. And he was just doing basically like basic home cooking stuff. So like obviously Brad's stuff was either subpar or not the greatest if she was impressed by that.
Yeah.
Well, I think that part of it, because she did say to him that you think that massive talent can make up for a bad attitude. She does. So she does tell him, "You are talented, but your attitude sucks." And I think with Eric, because when he said, "When's my interview, chef?" she said, "You're my pastry chef. You just got out of culinary school." And I think that's kind of why she was surprised by him, because he's brand new at this industry and he can cook like that. I think that was part of her surprise. But she did say Brad was talented. I think that, but as the alcohol problem got worse, you're kind of losing your skill level.
Oh yeah. You're gonna get sloppy and
Do you guys think the guy in the hood on the street was Brad? I got the impression it was Brad.
I thought it was. I mean, I just assumed, I guess.
I assumed it was.
Yeah, me too.
He stood there like a zombie. Like
Mhm.
it almost looked deformed.
Mhm. It was creepy. I really thought something really awful was going to happen the
Mhm.
first time I
too.
watched it.
Yeah.
Same. So we do that. And then we kind of go over to Maddie's back home, upset. She's put her ring up, totally breaks the dad mug. Good job.
Funny story on that, because I watched that episode with Elena when she was watching it the first time, and she's like such a like, I don't know, she's such a like empathetic kid. So like she like feels emotions in these shows like big time. It's really cute, to be so little. But she was so upset by all of this, and then she sees that dad mug. She's like, she needs to break it, and then she throws it down, and she's like, good. I mean, she was like so excited that like. It was so cute because she was in it with Maddie, like just ready to start throwing stuff with her.
I think that scene in the bedroom is so monumental because Maddie is trying to erase Bill from the room.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And all the covers and pillows have been stripped off. And then when she goes over to that closet, she tries to, but then she sits down. And I think the what's the word I'm looking for? Symmetry is not the word. I think oh my gosh.
Parallels.
No.
Dynamic?
The picture that they're creating, there's a word for that. The imagery.
Um,
Oh, good Lord. That's the word I was looking for was imagery. The imagery that they're creating there is that even though she tries to erase him, she doesn't have enough alone to erase him, to leave it that way, because she gave half of herself to Bill. He still has half of her. So without anybody else there, she's not complete. And I
Oh,
think
that's-
that's why when she goes into the closet, she tries to move her stuff over there and she just gives up after like 3 pieces of clothes are hanging there. She sits down and starts crying even more. And I think it was her realizing that she can't make herself fit in this space, that only half is alive still.
Is it terrible that my thought was, well, girl, I guess it's time to go shopping. You need to fill that closet up, Like
I
you
kind of
do
thought that
was
was the
my
scene that was
thought too.
coming up.
Yeah,
On Bill's dime.
exactly.
Go spend some of his money.
Right.
To make him sell that car or whatever that he loved so much that you gave him in the divorce.
Yeah. Ugh.
Did anyone else notice that after she left there, she had to have gone right to Ty's game and she talked to Cal?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like Cal was the first person she talked to after she tried to make herself fit into a whole room.
Yeah.
And
How funny is Cal that he had no idea what was going on? I mean,
Totally
what?
oblivious.
How do you? I mean, everyone in town is
Like,
talking about this. How do you not know?
Poor oblivious guy.
he doesn't seem to get around town that much. It seems
I
like he's
know.
just on the field and then at home, and the field and home.
And
Because
with
he's new,
Trotter,
right? He's a new coach
that's-
that year.
He's
Yeah.
a new coach that year, and I'm pretty sure that this was the first day of school.
Mhm.
That's the feeling I
Mhm.
got.
Yeah.
This was the first day of school. So
In episode 1 or 2.
yeah, episode 1.
maybe.
Whenever they're I don't know if it is or not, but it was just the kind of the feeling.
I got that
with
feeling
it.
too, but it was because it was nice and sunny and bright and people were wearing shorts. But that doesn't really mean a whole lot in Georgia. Doesn't mean the same thing.
No,
No,
I
it's
got the
any time of
feeling
year.
just by the way, the kids were talking whenever they were walking through the cemetery, and then when they were getting
Yeah.
to school. I can't remember quotes or anything right now, but
Well, when does baseball season start? Because I feel like they started playing games pretty soon after that. I don't know enough about sports to know when baseball season would be.
I
There
know. I
are
think
rules
with
for
high school sports,
where
yeah.
you can't start that much. You can't start practice that far into summer. You can't. You have to, like, for volleyball, the WIAA, which is the Wisconsin Sports Association, you can't have practices, or the coach can't be involved in any practices whatsoever prior to a week before school.
No.
And also, I see you, Shelby, but also, Kyle said he just got the part of puck. You have to go,
Yeah. So
and you have to.
Yeah, so maybe it wasn't.
Yes, Shelby.
I know for me, when I played softball, it might be different for baseball, I don't know, but I know for softball, they start in the fall, like late summer, early fall, and then it goes till almost winter, and then basketball usually started in the winter time.
yeah.
And then the plays and stuff would usually start in the fall, the auditions and all that would start at the beginning of the school year, and then the musical or whatever would be near the winter time, near Christmas, by break time.
So maybe it is.
At least in my schools.
Even if it's not the first day of school, it's probably pretty soon to school to get.
Pretty close, because games will start even for when we do sports here. The I can only say volleyball because that's what I coach, but we start games right away in September. But I'm able, because I coach junior high, I'm able to get them in sooner. So I don't know what it's like for a high school sport.
Yeah.
But I do like that instead of Cal bringing up right away that there is fighting issues and attitude issues, he brings up Ty's emotional state first to Maddie.
Mhm.
I think that was a pretty clear indication of the kind of coach he is and the kind of man he is.
Yeah.
And he was more concerned initially with Ty's emotional standing and his emotional placement than he was with, of course, in sports, that how you are, where you are emotionally is going to affect how you play.
Mhm.
But still, as a coach, to pick up on that, to notice that he seems like this isn't really him, even though he's a first-time coach, that he picked up on that. And that's what he told Maddie about. I thought that was really impressive. But he also, I like that he was quick to say, you know, there's also a fight and this can't happen.
Mhm.
Like, what did everybody think about Cal at the beginning?
I like him. I mean, I thought he was a good guy.
All I thought was, oh, it's Matthew from Grey's Anatomy.
Oh.
But yeah, I liked him. Like, oh, he seems like a nice guy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I did. I like Cal, and I like the nice guys. I like the guys.
I like that he wasn't afraid to just walk up to her and be like, "Hey,
Yeah.
he's screwing up."
Oh yeah.
Like, and then is there any changes at home? That part just got me.
Like, boy, are there changes at home.
So oblivious. Like,
I
yeah,
like
there's
how
some
neatly
changes.
she avoided that question. She's like, and I'm going to take him home right now.
Mhm. I think she was shocked that he didn't
Yeah.
know what was going on. Like,
But also,
Yeah.
I think she's very protective to not hear Ty, to not have
Yeah.
Ty hear anything she has to say about their dad.
yeah.
That was one thing that Bill said to them in the church when she said, my daddy taught me that respect is earned. Maybe your dad taught you that along with you were always right. And he said, is that how you talk around the kids about me? And she said, I try very hard not to talk about you at all. And
I
so-
love that line.
Yes. And that's so
Yes.
true because, and you can see it right there. And that's why she cut it off, because she did not want to talk about it in front of Ty.
Yep.
Maddie's awesome.
What I liked about Cal was, one, he seemed very nice. He seemed very genuine. He seemed to actually care and not be a robot.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I also have it, like, if you watch swimmers and baseball players have the same arms.
Yeah.
They like shoulder to kneecap. Their arms
Yeah.
are just super
I know.
huge.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I mean, I was gonna say that body didn't hurt as far as how we feel about him.
even not counting that, it just, that gives like this vision of bigger, so protector. And
Yeah.
I got that instinct from him that, oh, he would be an excellent protector for Maddie.
Hmm.
And so
Oh, yeah.
I like that.
And she needs that. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
And this is jumping ahead a bit, but the one thing that I really liked about Cal too, he literally got Bill and Noreen to leave with just a look.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Well, he said something to him beforehand, didn't he? Oh no, it was Harlan who went over there.
Makes
Never mind.
Harlan. Yeah.
yeah, it wasn't him, but like, I don't know, like that just to me like showed the kind of person that he was. Kind of like he knows how to control a room, kind of.
Mhm.
Yeah. I agree with you.
I just really love how much he really cares about the kids, and it's not just about like their performance on the field. I mean,
No.
like he really cares about them, and that's
And
just
you don't see that much on TV shows. Like, usually the coaches are, all about the game.
Yeah.
And he was interested in a lot more than that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, he was.
So we're kind of running episode 1 and 2 together, and I think that's okay because we just want you to know what happens in the first 2 episodes. And
Yeah.
if you're watching on Netflix, you're going to binge it anyway, so you're not going to know the difference.
No.
But the other thing I like about Cal is after Harlan tells him the situation, and then he runs into Maddie at the school, and first he's like, "Oh wow, this is good pictures. These are good drawings." Da 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 da. And then he's like, "I'm sorry, I didn't know." And then he
Yeah.
said, "But I think me and Bill have to sit down."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, it's that he takes the soft approach first to let you know that he
Mhm.
actually cares, and he's like, "But this is the reality of the situation."
Yeah.
And when she didn't show up with Bill, and he's telling her all these things about Ty, about how he's worried about Ty, because, and you're right, it's not just about his performance, it's about how Ty is doing emotionally. And then he
Mhm.
says, I like when he's like, "So we need to do a united front." Yeah. A united front, all on the same page. Well, I hate to be the one to say this, but that should include Bill.
Yes.
I get it.
And he was right about
Right.
that. As much as I don't want to see Bill's face.
Mhm.
And I think that goes back, I mean, just of how much he cares about the kids. Because I mean, I think we already know at this point he's interested in Maddie, but he's still taking the approach of like, for Ty's sake, no, we need to all be here. I need to discuss this.
Yeah.
And as an educator, I can tell you that sitting down and talking to parents who are recently divorced, like a bitter divorce, that is super crazy awkward
Yeah.
Yes.
to essentially put yourself in the middle of that. So I was like, wow, he must really care about Ty if he's willing to say, "Hey, I want to talk to both of you." I'm like, wow, that's pretty brave of you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I would rather just talk to Maddie and not have to deal with Bill.
Yeah, I would have been like, oh, thank goodness Bill didn't show up. Okay, let's do this.
What's up, Shelby?
For you three that are moms,
Mhm.
did you agree with the fact that Maddie let Ty dictate whether or not Bill was there or not, or would you have told the dad to come no matter what?
No, I agree.
I think she should have had more of a conversation with Ty about, this is why your dad should be there. This is why it'd be good. I understand you want him. But in that situation, I would support the son.
Yeah. I mean, I think in a situation where you're not in the middle of the divorce, yes, you probably do need to be in that united front. But in this time that they're at right then, Ty's already going through so much that, I'm going to do what he needs to do to protect him and make him feel comfortable.
Mm-hmm. And even what he says is, because she's like, I know your dad's made a lot of bad decisions, but he's still your dad. And Ty comes back with, well, if he's the one making the bad decisions, maybe he shouldn't be the one to tell me how to right myself.
Right.
I agree with him.
And plus, Ty is old enough that, I mean, he gets to make some decisions about himself here. I mean, it's not like he's, a young child. I mean, he's 16. He's a junior in high school. I mean, I don't know. I would have done exactly what she did.
He is not at all oblivious to what's going on with his parents.
Mm-hmm.
And you can tell by how he's, pretty much taking Maddie's side on everything.
The one thing that I do have written down that I want to talk about is Kyle and Bill's relationship, because it does seem like Bill is extremely hard on Kyle on Ty. I meant Ty. I'm sorry. Yeah. Bill is extremely hard on Ty versus the rest of them. Like, Katie is like his little girl, and it seems like Kyle he could kind of just care less about. And then Ty, he's like extremely hard on him. Yeah. And I'm wondering if that has part of the thing to do with like why Ty feels the way that he does about him too.
I'm sure it has something to do with that. The impression I got, especially when they're talking outside the church, is I think that he is aware of who Cal is. He's aware of Cal's position where he used to play pro ball. I think he's very much aware of that he got farther than Bill ever did, because Bill used to play football or used to play baseball. Mm-hmm. And I think that Bill is a super narcissist and egocentric guy. Mm-hmm. And I wouldn't call him a narcissist. But he's very egotistical. He's very egocentric. Mm-hmm. He's very, I have to be the best. So I think that Bill, just from that conversation, I think that Bill was trying to get Tyler to fawn over his instruction, just to avoid him relating to a responsible guy who made it further than him. Because if he related to Cal's a better guy all around. Yeah. No matter where, even though Bill lives in this alternate reality where what he did shouldn't matter or affect anyone, he's also not an idiot. So I don't think he's an idiot. So he's aware that, his kids are hurting, his kids are suffering. So I think that he knows Cal's better looking than him. Cal is more athletic than him. Cal got to the pros when Bill couldn't. And I'm sure that when Bill was that age, he wanted to get to the pros. The way he talks to Cal in a later episode gives you the indication he wanted to go pro. Yeah. Cal did. He couldn't. So it's all about, listen, I'm the one you're going to respect, and I'm the one who you're going to fawn over. I'm the one who's going to be in charge. But I do think that how hard he is, it's like Tyler's the golden sheep. Yeah. Because he can't relate to Kyle. Kyle's in theater. He knows nothing about that. But, Mike, I don't know anything about dance. I can barely move my foot forward and backwards. I don't know anything about dance. But my kid wanted to do dance. So, what I did? I learned about dance.
Yeah.
But I think because he already had his golden goose, I'm looking to see how many golden animals I can throw out there. But he's gotten his golden goose there in that he's got an excellent pitcher who has an actual chance of becoming something. That he didn't need to focus on anyone else, because he's got the kid that he likes. He's got his moneymaker, and he's got the one he can rally behind. I do really feel for Ty though, because he's so hurt and betrayed by his dad, and Maddie is the one who is bearing the brunt of this all for her, because Bill's the one who did something wrong, and even so, Maddie doesn't say anything bad about him to her kids. Yeah, Bill has no problem accosting her in a church lawn. But Maddie's the one who is completely innocent in this and is taking the higher ground. Yeah. And Ty can see that. And I think Ty sides with Maddie because of that, but I think he also sides with Maddie because Maddie is siding with the kids rather than siding for herself or siding for Bill. And Bill only sided with himself.
And that's why she's taking Oh, sorry, Amanda.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and I think that's why Maddie is taking the high road, is because she's not, the only side that she's on is the kid's side.
Yep.
And taking the high road is taking the kid's side.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And Ty sees that. So snaps for Maddie.
Mm-hmm.
Good job.
So we need to talk about the conversation between Collins and Neville and all the other people, because they're going to sell to the pickle jar, which brings us to our code word.
Pickle jar.
So our code word is pickle jar.
Pickle jar.
If you are listening, the code word is pickle jar, and you can tell us the code word is pickle jar by messaging us that the code word is pickle jar. And if you don't get that the code word is pickle jar from this, then it's kind of really your own fault. Listen better.
And we cannot help you anymore.
No, there is
Except
no
for you're not supposed to message us. Maureen gave you the wrong information.
Do not message us, pickle jar.
You're not supposed to message us.
I don't know what's going on. How are they getting us the word?
We will let everybody know on August 30th,
Okay.
31st, the end of the month.
All right. So let's talk about all pickle jar related things.
Yes.
By the way, the code word is pickle jar.
Pickle jar.
I randomly say that throughout this video. But I like how the first meeting, that it was kind of an awkward conversation that Collins and Neville had at first.
Yes.
And Dana Sue's restaurant. Like Collins,
Yeah.
I was like, wow, you're kind of a jerk face.
Mhm.
Yeah. I was
Butthead.
upset with him at the beginning too.
Yeah.
Yes. But I have big box store, buy out all stores on block, typically shorting everyone. That was my note on pickle jar.
Yeah. I mean, the Collins is the only one that really actually wanted to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I think
But-
Collins he felt like he needed to do it.
Yeah. Which I think Helen kind of solved that problem in the second episode.
It was the second
Hoping.
from when I had that note.
Mm-hmm. With I don't know the boy's name. Just they keep saying the young boy, the young fellow. I don't know if he has a name.
They
I
did
haven't
say his name when he dropped the paint bucket.
Did he?
Max.
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 Okay. So
He was running his hand down the cloth to scrape the paint back in the bucket. That is not how you do that job.
that part made me laugh. I was like, oh wow. Got your work cut out for you. Collins.
I'm looking for my note. I had a note on Mary Vaughn, but she is a vapid human being.
Ugh. I cannot stand that woman. I think I put a very
Oh.
nasty note about her in here somewhere.
That's what I was looking for, was my mean note.
Maybe I just
I
thought
know
about it in my
how.
head.
How do her and her husband produce such a lovely child like Nellie? I don't understand.
Well, they produced one.
Because there's Jackson.
All of their terrible went into Jackson.
Apparently.
All of it.
Oh, goodness.
There wasn't enough left for poor Nellie.
You want to know? I watched this until we had our interview with Simone, and I went to look up her character's name. I honestly believed that their last name was Vaughn. I mean, I've watched the show twice, and I honestly believed that because Mary Vaughn, that their last name was Vaughn.
Yeah.
I just
could
learned
tell.
right now. I just learned right now, this very moment, that their last name is not Vaughn.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
In their interview
That's
that
a
you guys will
Southern
see
thing.
tomorrow that comes out. That's what she said too. And she pointed out it's like Dana Sue. Like,
Yeah, I
yeah,
guess.
but I didn't know
Vaughn.
Vaughn was a name though. I thought it
Yeah,
was like
I
That
always
sounds
name.
like
A last
a
name.
last name.
Mhm. I mean, I should know this. I'm from the South, I know everybody likes to have two names. I got my Shelby Kate that I refer to her as that all the time. So I don't know.
I mean, it makes sense because they always call her, Mary Vaughn.
Mary Vaughn.
I mean,
it makes sense. I
It'd be
don't
a little
know
bit
why.
awkward if they're just walking around calling her about her full name, her full government name. All the
Don't we
time.
do that in other? I know it's not like One Tree Hill where everybody's Lucas Scott and Nathan Scott and everybody has to say your last name.
So Mary Vaughn has the conversation with Helen the next day, or not, no, sometime in that episode,
And
in one or
Peggy.
two, and Peggy, where I
like
just love
Peggy.
Helen.
I don't like
Does
her.
everybody else dislike Peggy?
I think we're going to like her, but I think we're meant to be confused about her right now.
Well, I think one of the reasons I do like Peggy, and I remember I thought this when because I've got through like one episode today, is when they're back at the church and like her kindness to Noreen, I think was really genuine. And I think it has to do with, I mean, I think there's a backstory there. I mean, I don't know if I want to say what I think her backstory is, but I mean, I think she felt for her and she was being really nice to her. So I don't know. I like Peggy.
I don't know. I
don't
got
like
a
Mary
feeling
Dawn.
that she just wanted to go against Maddie.
No, I
And
didn't get
being
that.
nice to Noreen was going against. I don't like her. So I'm going to see the bad in her until she proves me wrong.
I think we're going to find out that these other girls somehow treated her wrongly and maybe they don't even realize it. I know I've got theories about her too, but I don't.
But I think from this instance, we can see, because she kind of looks around first before she talks to Noreen. I think that she reaches out to the outcast because she probably was one, but she only reaches out to the outcast when she's alone.
Yeah.
Because
I
got
just-
Mary Vaughn. And she's
So
So
far
she's-
at Mary Vaughn's butt. That's
Exactly.
what bugs me.
she's got the popular friend. She's got the
Mhm.
one who runs the town in her corner. She'll do whatever Mary Vaughn says because they're tied at the hip. But she does have a heart for the outcast, I think, because she was one. And the fact that she looks around for shows you that she will only help you out if you're alone. Or if she's alone, rather. If there's no one else to see her pay attention to the outcast, she'll do it. And I think that I'm wondering if she has family missing, because she says to Noreen something along the lines of, and without your family here, I know that's got to be hard.
Well, I think I know why that is though.
Do you get that from one of these first two episodes or from that one incident later on?
Later.
Okay. We'll hold off on that till we get to that episode.
Yeah.
Because I'm excited to talk about it then.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have some things but I think that she kind of gives the indication there that she might have that might be why she's an outcast, is because some family dynamics that were not healthy or safe.
Yeah.
Also in that church scene, real quick, bring it back to Noreen. Did anyone else notice that they had zero wedding plans? They go around saying, we're engaged, she's my fiance, we're gonna get married, I'm doing right by Noreen. They don't even have a date or a
He
venue.
has no intent.
Those are the wedding plans, Maureen.
He's
They're
not going to marry
engaged.
her.
That's exactly what I have. Zero plans aside from let's get married. And
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's the plan. That's the plan.
and,
Let's get married. That's it.
yeah, let's get married and not here.
And honestly, that's probably part of the reason that Noreen is pushing so hard to be involved.
I also, I forget when it was, but Bill was looking through his phone on pictures like of his family and stuff, and like it kind of gave off the vibe that like he kind of misses what it was, and like he maybe like that's when he realized like, oh, I really screwed up, but like there's no going back now, kind of.
Yep.
So that might be why there's no like certain plans, because like he's not gonna make any because he's still caught up on Maddie, but he doesn't know how to fix what he did.
I think that's episode 2.
Is that what I was going to ask if that's in that? Oh yeah, because it was after she got asked to lead, basically told to lead the game, right?
Yeah, I know it was episode 2. I just don't know like where at in episode 2.
It was in the last 20 minutes.
Yeah,
I keep saying that.
It was at the very end.
I keep saying it's the last 20 minutes because I didn't get to see the last 20 minutes, and I didn't see that today. That's the only reason I know where it's at.
It's at the very end of my notes. So
Because I think it's after they were at, because he also had to leave Ty's game then.
yeah.
And he was realizing, but the thing about that too, I think, is not so much that, oh, I screwed things up with Maddie, but now I can't even watch my son play baseball. This is affecting me on a personal level, and now I'm sad because it affects me personally now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that's as far as I think it just, that man is so selfish. It makes me want to hit him. But I do think obviously he knows that, I mean, look at what he's losing versus what he's gaining. And I think that by him saying, you know, I'm going to do right by Noreen is kind of him saying, well, it was never wrong in the first place.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything wrong. Because he even says that to the doctor in episode 1, to his partner, like business partner.
Yeah.
Just thought I had to make that clear. But he even says to him, you know, Maggie and I were on the rocks.
Yeah.
Well, Maggie didn't know you were on the rocks. So for you to go and say, I'm doing right by Noreen, I'm doing the right thing now, it feels like him saying kind of, well, it was never wrong then, because, you know, Maggie and I were on the rocks. We didn't get along. We were heading towards a divorce anyway. We were going to do it. Of course, he never was.
It sounds like you're saying Maggie and not Maddie.
No, I'm saying Maddie. Does it still sound like I'm saying Maggie? Maggie?
Yeah, no, I was gonna say that's why I'm looking weird, because it sounds like you're saying Maggie.
Oh.
Yeah, I heard Maggie too.
I think
And
I'm
at first
saying
I was
Maddie.
Like, then I was like, wait a minute, who's Maggie?
I know, I was like, Maggie. Oh, Maddie.
Maybe I was. I don't
Maybe
know.
it's when you
It's
say
not
it
just
fast.
me that time, Elise.
Because you did it earlier too, but maybe it's just when you say it fast, you just.
Yeah, it's like Maddie didn't seem to know that, you know, their marriage was crumbling. She thought everything
No.
was fine until she found out that he was, you know, sleeping around with his nurse.
Yeah, I mean, she may have knew there were issues, but it doesn't strike me like, I mean, Maddie's not the type. She probably thought they would like work it out and like, you know, get through
something
it
that was fixable.
versus, you know, I'm gonna sleep with this lady at work, you know.
My theory is, you see how involved she is with the kids, with their school, with their
Yeah.
extracurriculars, with all that stuff. Doesn't leave a lot of time for Bill to be fawned over.
Yeah.
And
we
Noreen was
both
probably like,
know
oh,
that-
you're so smart. You're a doctor. It's amazing what you do. You're so awesome at this. And he's like, hey, I like being fawned over. So that's probably as far as his egocentric mind went.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we all know that ego needs to be fed. So
Ugh.
I don't like Bill.
It's so awful.
But
I feel sick just thinking about him.
but Helen helped him make the right decision.
Mhm.
She did.
And
I
honestly,
really wish we could have seen that conversation though.
I was trying to think of what it might have been. And I think it had to, because I think she was standing near enough to hear the conversation with him and Ty.
Mhm.
If you want to get on Ty's good side, you won't take his stuff from him. If you actually want Ty to listen to you and respect you and do what you want him to do, then you won't continue to force him to give up stuff. Because
Yeah.
I think Helen's smart enough to know how to speak his language.
Oh yeah.
Can't speak from a place of doing the right thing, because he doesn't care about that.
No.
That's
You
the
see
other thing too about Bill, is that when he says the right thing, it's what he wants. And that's why he keeps screwing it up. Because
Mhm.
he thinks he knows better, but when Helen helps him do the right thing, it's actually the right thing.
Mhm.
Yes, Shelby. Like that you raised your hand and then immediately muted.
I coughed. The other thing is too, Helen's been friends with Maddie for how long? So she probably knew, like, at least I know for me, when I had my best friend, I talked about Kenny when he would make me mad. So I'm sure that she knew like the ins and outs of their marriage, and she probably knew how to get underneath his skin too without being rude about it. Like she knew how to appeal to like what he wanted and what would make him happy.
Mm-hmm.
To be able to know like what to say in the conversation. I mean, even as a lawyer, like I have this written down too, and this is kind of going off track a little bit, but even as a lawyer, like she really seems to care about her clients. Like she really went out of her way to make sure that those two girls were taken care of, like as far as like talking to Annie when Annie was the one babysitting them and all that. So like I could just kind of see her like stewing and thinking about everything, like not really getting in the middle of it, but like thinking about what to say to him to make her get to make him give Maddie what she, I guess, deserved or wanted, or however you want to say it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. Let's talk about that case a little bit.
Yeah.
The case that Shelby said what happens right away in season 2. But that case, I think, was pretty interesting. The end seems very suspicious. Anyone else catch sketchy vibes?
Yes.
Even before the Godfather said what he said. I mean, like, the way she talked gave me the creeps.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, I think you could tell right away that she didn't care about those kids and it was nothing to do with them.
Yeah, she seemed
It
mad.
didn't seem
about
like yeah, I was gonna say it didn't seem like she wanted what was best for them. She just wanted like whatever came with them, or whatever inheritance they probably got when they turned 18, or however all that works.
Yep.
Well, they mentioned like, what do you like to do? Oh, bake cookies. Like, I feel like you just threw out the most
Yeah.
generic thing possible that you could do with a couple of kids. Like,
And even that was an afterthought.
And for me, I really thought something was sketchy with the aunt when the family friend wanted the girls. I was like, it's highly unusual for a man with living in a bachelor pad to want to take on these children. So he has to be the genuine one. And what the heck is going on with this aunt?
Right. Yeah.
And I think that Helen has a really good gut instinct, and she follows that through. I think she saw the same thing we did. I think that was intentional. But when she walks up to Annie, I like how she asks Annie, what were they into? Did they like this? And she actually didn't lead her at all. She just asked her general questions, and Annie confirmed what her gut was telling her.
Yeah.
And I think that the purpose of this, her doing that particular case, because in the ending of the last episode, I think it was the ending of the last episode. Yep, Helen is asking that doctor about her family options. And then we jump right into this in the very beginning of the next episode. But I think the purpose of this case is to watch it minister to Helen about how she's single and wants a family.
Yeah.
And how it even goes back to the advice at the end of episode 1 when Maddie goes back to her mom's studio and her mom says, if you want it, honey, do it. How does she word that? You march to your own path or something like that. I don't remember how she worded it, but I just wrote down, I knew I was going to forget. I just wrote down great advice.
You march to your own beat of your drum?
And she said it more like artistically. It wasn't the drum thing. It was something about path, creating a new path.
I don't remember.
But so we see Helen talking to her doctor about family options, and then the next scene we see basically is her Maddie's mom saying to her, if you want it, you go get it. It's you make your own choices. And then there's this whole thing when these parents are here, and even Helen says to him at one point, but you're a single guy and you want these kids. And she even says, well, I'm a single life. I should have known better. And so I think the whole purpose of this is to minister to her that she can do this. If this is what she wants, then she needs to go after it. And I think we're going to see a little bit of that next season, hopefully with Eric, but and that's the other thing about Eric too, and Helen. And when he flirts with her shamelessly.
I love it.
Helen doesn't entirely pick up on it.
Yeah.
And when he makes that pot pie and she just kind of stares at him like, ooh, I feel like the way to a man's heart is like, that's the saying, the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. I feel like for me and all my Southern family, the way to a woman's heart is you make them a good meal and you're
absolutely
let's go.
Absolutely.
Shelby, doesn't Kenny cook? Is that what he does? See? There you go. And so he's very sweet. He's very kind. Even with Isaac in the kitchen, he's so sweet with Isaac in the kitchen. And Isaac is so adorable in that little apron when he comes out.
I love Isaac.
But Eric is he makes me want to be a cook in the kitchen again, because I used to do that. So it kind of made me like, when he's describing the symphony and all the different flavors and how they work together. And then he's talking to Helen, and he says something along the lines of, no, you don't just come in here and talk. You got to work. When she's asking what's wrong with Dana Sue. So that dynamic, I think Helen needs someone like that.
Yeah.
And I think she needed reminding that she can do this.
Speaking of Eric, do you think that he was being pushy when Dana Sue kept telling him just back off and I'll pick out a sous chef and stuff, and then he made all that food and stuff, and then basically cornered her?
No,
because I don't know, that rubbed me the wrong way a little bit. I get why he did it, but I didn't like it.
I thought she was being.
Go ahead, Eve.
I thought she was being too dismissive of him.
Agreed.
That was my take.
Agreed.
I agree.
Dana Sue, I love Dana Sue, but Dana Sue bothers me more than any of the other girls, because I feel like she is really dismissive to not just him in that situation. She's really dismissive to Annie in most situations. And I know she's busy and stressed and just doesn't see everything that's going on around her, but she can be really kind of obnoxious at times. He was clearly good at what he did, and she wasn't even willing to give him a chance.
He was trying to prove himself, and she's just like, you need to know your place. He does.
Yeah.
And she snaps it, she's almost mad at him for trying.
But I do think him cornering her was the way to get it done, though, because I feel like with her personality, putting her in that corner and making her see it was the only way it was ever going to be seen.
Yeah. And honestly, in a kitchen, you got to fight for every role you get.
Yeah.
That's just how it works in a kitchen. I mean, everyone wants to be that chef. It's when you're on the line, even when you're a sous chef, if you're a dishwasher, you're pretty much your goal is to continue moving up that line. So when there's a vacancy, like that's a hot spot. You want that position, especially if you know you have the skills to do that position. You got to kind of fight for it. So I thought Eric did what he needed to do. And Eric also wasn't like Brad, where it's, you're an idiot for not taking me. It was,
Right.
let me just show you what I can do. And even Dana Sue says when he gives her that pot pie, let's put this on the menu.
Yeah.
He understands. And from that moment, he's like, okay, so you do like what I have. And the reason Dana Sue felt cornered is because of all the stuff with Brad. And
Yeah.
that's why she kept snapping, because she was starting to freak out. I mean, she even yelled at Helen out in the dining room.
I know.
Where she went, I'll get to it. Like, woo.
Calm down, girl.
I was surprised Helen didn't have some words for her.
I
But
guess it's because they've known each other so long. She was just like, whoa, okay. Like, calm down.
Yeah, if my childhood best friend talked to me like that, I'd just give it right back to her.
She may have been able to read the room and realize, like, okay, maybe I just need to
Something's
back
wrong.
off for a second. Like,
I'll wait until margarita night, then I'll let her have it
yeah,
when we're all good and drunk.
yeah.
That is something we haven't talked about yet. Margarita night.
Pour out.
Yes.
I love those margarita nights. Like, I want to jump into the TV and be like, ooh,
How fun.
pour me one.
Yeah,
It looks like fun.
it definitely does.
I think that I like that it's been going on so long that all of the kids know. So I think that, like, because even before Tyler leaves, he's like, are the moms in there for margarita nights already? Or has margarita night started, or whatever he said. But they all know this is mom time. We don't interrupt mom time. We let them have their thing. And we're all going to sit out here and do. And that also gives an indication that they're obviously not like getting hammered.
Right.
Like, oh, let's get drunk. Because all their kids are right there. And they're the ones who are responsible for taking all their kids back home.
Exactly.
It's just, let's take a breath, let's de-stress, and let's tell each other what our burdens are.
Yeah.
Especially now in this climate, how much would everyone love to have friends that they could just be like,
I love it.
can I please tell you what I'm struggling with?
Mhm.
I want that.
Me
I
too.
want that so bad.
I have that, and it's wonderful.
Shut up, Eve.
I know. Because Eve's
off the
single. She
podcast.
doesn't have the kids. Like, who has time for all that? I don't.
What did you say, Shelby?
I said you're off the podcast. Go hang out with your friends.
Oh, Eve.
One of the requirements is we don't have real friends.
None of my real life friends like any of the same shows I do. So
Okay, I understand that.
yeah,
We're second-rate citizens for Eve.
they won't join our groups.
Look at you backpacking. Cover your butt.
Well, one of the things they talk about in Margarita Night is Annie, right? With those pictures.
Yes.
That is another instance I think Dana Sue was being too hard on.
Yes.
I hated that.
I mean, I understand that those pictures maybe aren't what you want, but I don't understand how you couldn't recognize that those were beautiful photographs.
Even
Though.
Maddie.
Yeah.
And even if, she was like, well, this is really disrespectful, I feel like as a mother, that would be a good opportunity to be like, why do you think this way about our town?
Have a conversation.
Yeah. Those instances bug me about Dana Sue.
I have a theory of why she's like that, though. I think that she was probably pressured to be better than she was at every point in time. So she always had to push harder and go to that next level and the next level and the next level. It's a mockery of the town and a mockery of her. And I think so she took it so personally, but she shouldn't have taken it personally because it wasn't about her. I mean, Annie made a comment about how your whole life breaks apart and you're just supposed to act like everything's fine, which, I mean, obviously it's a little bit about her dad.
Yeah.
But as an artist, if you're a painter, you paint what you're feeling. If you're a writer, you write what you're feeling. If you're a photographer, you're going to take pictures that you can emote with. And that's how she was emoting. She was struggling and she was in pain. And instead of saying, how dare you, find a different way, she could have said, let's talk about what you're struggling with.
Yeah.
Yes, Shelby.
And then she did find a different way to do it. She took that picture, the beautiful picture of the three friends, and even like took the time to edit out the ugly cup and everything. And then Dana Sue just didn't, I mean, granted, Dana Sue didn't know what she wanted, but she just dismissed her. And then she ended up finding the picture in the garbage. I'm pretty sure that was the very last scene of the second episode. She ended up finding the picture in the garbage. And like, I don't know, like, I'm obviously not a parent, but I feel like I would feel like complete crap.
Oh yeah.
If that was me.
Even though I don't think that particularly was Maddie's fault or was Dana Sue's fault, if that were me, I still would have felt like crap. Even though, I mean, there's no way Dana Sue knew when she said mom and then Isaac came in and talked to her. There's no way Dana Sue, because Maddie or Annie just automatically gave up. You're like, all right,
but
and you're just gonna ignore what my picture says. But
I think she automatically gave up probably because she's so used to her just dismissing her.
Yeah.
Another thing I noticed too is that, well, teenagers are inherently self-absorbed, and it's just odd that Dana Sue, as the mother of a teenager, doesn't understand that the way her daughter acts, that 98% of the time it's not about her.
Right.
She's selfish, so she's probably going through something.
Yeah, but that's her first and only kid. And what I tell my first kid is, I have no idea what I'm doing with you.
Right.
So she probably has, everything's an experiment. So, I mean, she maybe we think because we can see it, because we know what's going on as the audience. I mean, we can assume that you should know. But the other thing she says too is that, you know how I am, the busier I am, the happier I am. She doesn't allow herself a moment to notice anything else. And I don't know if that's because of Ronnie leaving. I don't know if things got bad with Annie and her then. And she's just, instead of Maddie trying to like, no, I can't take on any more things because I'm struggling with this divorce. If Dana Sue had the opposite of, I need to take on more things so I don't focus on this divorce. And so I don't see anything else because I just want to have tunnel vision.
Yeah.
Because we don't know, we aren't really given how long the problems are between her and Annie. We are sort of given through Annie's comments that it started happening after Ronnie left.
And I'd love to know more about like the Ronnie situation, because it's, I mean, we see that Annie still communicates with him, still has some sort of relationship with him. But Dana Sue, like, I mean, does she even know that they're really communicating like they are? Like, there's no, like, I don't know. It's just weird that like Ronnie is not discussed between Dana Sue and Annie, like, ever. I don't know. It's so I'd like to know more about like what happened between them. I mean, it sounds like he cheated. Yeah. But at the same time, like, I'd like to know more.
And I think too, I want to talk about that I agree with you. I do. And I think we will see more because Ronnie's back in the end. So I think we will.
I like Ronnie.
I know I gave that away. I didn't mean to give that away, but
it's okay. They've all seen this. No, they have.
He will become, I assume he will be back, because you can't just end the season there and be like, nope, that's all you get. You get nothing else. Like, no.
They better not.
That would be terrible.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about that picture that Shelby brought up that Annie took. And I think that's such a beautiful metaphor, because Annie is seeing the beauty of the sweet magnolias through the mess. And she's able to connect in that way, because her original intention is to take a picture of the cup with the spilled liquid, because that's mess. But then she sees the sweet magnolias and she kind of sees not just the beauty there, but I think she sees a stability and a strength there. And I think that's why she gravitates toward it, because I think she wants that a little bit more. Yeah. And so I think that's why that picture is so pivotal, because she sees that through that. And then right after that, she goes on a walk with Helen and she's asking her, why did you come back here? Why did you do this? And I think Helen helps her opening up to Annie helps her to see the beauty of where she lives. Right. I think that it's when she feels rejected by her mom in that picture, she starts to revert back to, well, screw everything then. Yeah. Which is a bummer. But I think that even Dana Sue in the end of episode 1, when she says, you know, Maddie's going to tell us no, right? I think that is Dana Sue's fear. I think that's her own worry is, I can't do this.
Yeah, maybe.
Yes, Shelby.
Helen is Annie's godmom, right?
Yes. I think she's all the kids.
So
they don't say about the
definitely Annie. I don't know about Maddie's kids.
Yeah, I don't think they say.
So if that's the case, and Annie, I'm assuming, knows that, why did she ask Dana Sue what would happen to her if something ever happened to Dana Sue? If Helen's her godmom, wouldn't the godmom get her?
Not necessarily.
Not automatic.
My godmother is my aunt, but I know that if something had happened to my parents, like they had somebody else in mind.
The purpose of a godparent is you're supposed to be, the agreement is that you will help raise them in a godly way, to help advise them in a godly way, and to help keep them on a path of morality and
spiritual guidance is
Yeah, it's more of a guidance type thing.
yeah.
Okay, never mind.
But I do think that's a common misconception, because the first time I had asked someone else to be my kid's godmother, like, but I don't think I can take your kids when you die. No.
Yeah.
So I think, and when I was younger, I used to think the same thing, because my godparents were my grandmother's brother and his wife. Like,
yeah.
how
I think
they're going to die way before anybody else does.
I think probably in a lot of cases, the godparents are who would get the children, but it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it has to be in the will, or it goes to next of kin, I believe. Well,
Yeah, would go to like parents, right? I guess grandparents probably.
Yeah. And I think now my notes are almost done. I just have a couple of things that I want to hit on. But I think now that we're on to Helen and how she helped Annie see that, a really key thing about Helen is she starts her day by caring for everyone else. Before she went to her case with those kids, or before she went to go deal with Nevin, what's his name?
Neville.
Neville. I was sort of close.
Neville.
Had all the right letters in there.
Yeah.
But she first went to the restaurant. It was the day after Dana Sue fired Brad that next morning.
Mhm.
She went to the restaurant first before she went anywhere else. She didn't really do anything in there. She didn't order a meal. She didn't even take a meal. She grabbed a piece of food and then walked out. But she went there to greet Dana Sue and see how she was doing.
Mhm.
She puts everyone else first, always. And I wonder, because Maddie's a lot like that. Even her mom says, you have to start caring for yourself at some point.
Yeah.
That's what Maddie's mom says to her. So I wonder if before this happened with Ronnie, I think Dana Sue is probably also a little bit like that. I think that's why they work so well together.
Maybe.
I think the situation with Ronnie has altered her, not completely, but just enough to where she can't, because that's my MO. When something is hurting me or something is on there, and I have a lot of trauma from my past that I haven't dealt with. So I will say yes to everything. Yes, give me more things to do. When I had a bunch of deaths come in my family, I don't want to think about it. I just want to do all the work. Just give me all the work. And I think that's what Dana Sue is doing with Ronnie. I think it was too painful. So she's piling all this stuff on. That's why she's happier when she's busier, because she can't think about the painful things. So I think that we're going to be able to get to see in the second season that Dana Sue is a lot more like Maddie and Helen than we've seen in the first season.
Yeah.
Then I found the note I wrote about Mary Vaughn, and it says Mary Vaughn is a slippery snake.
She is.
I have nothing nice to say about Mary Vaughn.
Nothing.
The only thing I can say about her is she's a lot like Jackson.
Oh, but poor Jack, I don't know. Jackson, we see he is like that because of his terrible parents.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Maybe there's still hope for him.
I
There
think
is.
there's hope for him.
I think there's hope for all of them, actually, except for maybe Bill and Brad. I don't think Brad's ever going to come back from that. Unless he goes to AA and he's better. I guess I can't say that there's no hope.
There's always hope. You know,
I don't want there to be hope for those two, but there is.
it would take a lot for me to like Bill. A lot.
And obviously, Maddie says yes to the spa.
Mhm.
So they move forward.
Yes.
And I do like when they're walking through that house. And they're teasing Helen about her love life when she was there. And the other thing you see about Helen there is, my gosh, I want to be as organized as that woman is.
Yeah.
Personal little folders for each one of them. She is boss lady in its best form. And she's like, under budget. I want you to stay under budget. All this is going to happen through you. You're going to handle all this. You're going to do all this. Like,
Yeah, I saw that. I
Love
was
it.
like, isn't she like the town lawyer? Like,
yes, she's one of
how
them.
I was like, how does she have time for like all of this? Like to be this organized for, the spa. I'm like, that's impressive.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I do all my organization at work and then I'm done. Like my apartment is a mess, but my classroom is like everything in its place.
Yeah.
Yep. I think that she's amazing. I want to be Helen.
I love
I knew
Helen.
what is her last name, guys?
Decatur.
Decatur, that's right. I want to be Helen Decatur when I grow up. Real bad.
Yeah, she's my favorite, I think, of the three ladies.
With Milo's mustache.
Yeah.
Milo's mustache.
We can't end a podcast without someone being creepy.
I just got an image in my head of Terry Curtis in, or not Terry, Tony Curtis in Rocky Horror Picture Show, where he's dressed up like a woman, but he's very clearly got facial hair. Been a long time since I've seen that one.
Yeah.
So I only have a couple more random notes. Does anyone else have anything you want to say about Helen? Because I don't have anything else about her in the first 2 episodes.
I don't remember who this was, but Isaac running through the file drawer. I remember the first time I watched it, I was like sketched out a little bit.
Because we just
Like
watched
I
Brad.
loved Isaac from the start. Yeah, like I loved Isaac from the start, and then when I loved Isaac from the start, and then like when he started rooting through the file drawer like the first time around when I didn't know what was going on, I was a little sketched out, and I was like, okay, he doesn't give off good vibes anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think I still liked him, but I was definitely like, okay, what is he hiding? I love Isaac. He's like another, I love everybody in the show, but he's another, I like a lot of the small players in the show.
Except
even
for
more.
Bill.
What?
You like everybody except for Bill.
Except for Bill
And Mary Vaughn.
and Mary Vaughn
And
and
Sarah
Brad.
Jackson.
Now I'm okay with Jackson, like, because he's a kid, so I'll forgive him for stuff.
The other thing that is kind of related to this is Peggy Sue when she finds out that Brad was fired.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Peggy Sue? Is that her name?
He's just
Is her middle
Peggy.
name also Sue? Well,
He's
Peggy
just
finds out
Peggy.
and she goes to try to get more details from Dana. But I love that it's right after with the Mary Vaughn thing when Helen goes in there and she's like, I hope, Peggy, as our editor in chief or whatever her title is, that you are reporting on this as a member of the press. And then she
Mhm.
goes in the day to sue, Peggy does, and says, I had to be scooped. I'm giving you an opportunity to tell me this. So you're outright saying you want gossip and you should be
Mhm.
complimented for wanting gossip.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah. That's how it works.
I mean, if she was anything like this in high school, I kind of get it.
Yeah.
But I wasn't very nice in high school, so I mean, maybe that's just me. There's another instance with Maddie when Ty's on the couch reading his book towards the end of episode 2. It's like in the last 30-ish minutes. But he's reading a book, and I think this moment is really important to mention because she takes the book out of his hands, she cuddles him up, or she covers him up, gives him a kiss, and then Ty opens his eyes and he smiles and he covers himself a little tighter. And I just thought, again, you guys know verbal's my sweet spot, but I just thought that scene itself was
Love that
so
one.
beautifully moving. And I'm getting emotional talking about it, but it was so touching. And that's why those kids are for Maddie.
Mhm.
She didn't have to do that. She didn't have to make sure he was comfortable and safe and warm. She didn't have to do any of that.
Mhm.
She did because and no one was watching her do it. And that's the big thing. Has Bill ever done anything when no one was watching?
No.
Everything is for
Nope.
the accolades for Bill.
That's not his MO.
Exactly. And Maddie just did something because she just loves her kids. And the way Ty smiled, it was like he just needed that.
Oh, sweet.
Shelby, you want to talk about those 2 notes that you threw up there?
Okay, so one of my favorite parts of episode 2 was when Kyle was giving Cece the silly information about Ty, about him liking High School Musical and then him taking ballet. And Cece, which he didn't know this, but Cece was like being completely like legit, like just wanted to get Ty's attention basically. And then Cece dressed up like Sharpay and then like embarrassed herself in front of the whole baseball team. And I felt so bad for him.
I did too.
But one of the things that like really stood out to me too was like Cece came up to Ty just to like air everything out and be like, listen, like I only did that because Kyle told me this, that, and the third. And Ty like defended Kyle till the end, but then like behind closed doors, he was like, don't do that again.
Yeah.
Like, and to me, that just showed how their relationship is, because like he could have like embarrassed Kyle in front of the whole school and basically like spun it back around on him too, because he's the nerd and blah, 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 blah. But he did it behind closed doors, and he did it playfully too. It wasn't like mean. It was just
I love that scene between him and Kyle, because I mean I guess you would think that he would be really mad at Kyle, and I think he was a little annoyed that he did it, but it ended in such a playful way.
I mean, he even shoved him. I was like, oh gosh, we're going there. And then he just said, dude, don't do it again. I was like, okay, it's just brothers being brothers.
Yeah, I loved it. I did feel bad for Cece, even though I don't like her at all. But I did feel bad because that was really embarrassing.
It was really cringeworthy.
My note on that says that hopefully this will help her to just be herself.
Yeah.
And obviously that's something we're going to talk on in the next couple episodes.
Yeah.
But I think she's a lot like Jackson there in terms of why she is the way she is.
I know.
She has more of a valid reason. But I did like that one. I liked when Kyle sang, "Get your head in the game."
Yeah.
So terrible. Logan Allen, that was terrible.
I love it.
Maybe you meant it to be terrible. I don't know. But it was delightfully terrible. I appreciate that you sang that out. But I did hope that would make her, because when she showed up as Sharpay, it was really sad.
It was.
What was more sad was that she had to say, "I'm Sharpay."
Yeah.
But why would you just like roll off like you're not being Sharpay?
Yeah. It was, I don't know, it was so embarrassing.
The whole thing was just really embarrassing to watch.
It was.
So in episode 2,
I was like, come on, be smart. Like, he's messing with you.
Yeah. Well, even if let's pretend that Ty actually did like High School Musical and did take ballet, do you really think he'd want to talk about it in front of his whole team?
Yep, exactly.
I mean, so that's the part, like, come on.
Use your brain.
Yeah.
Especially since this show came out in 2021. When did High School Musical come out?
A long time ago.
So it's not like he was obsessed with it recently.
Right.
And I like when Kyle's like, no, seriously, like my mom drove him up every Saturday. And
That was so funny. His look on his face when she's like talking to Ty, it's just like, oh God.
It was 2006, by the way.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yep. So he wasn't even alive when that came out.
Oh.
Okay. So is this the episode where Cal sits down and has dinner with nobody? When he has dinner with nobody, he doesn't do anything.
I don't think I think that's the next pizza night.
That's the other one. Not only did I binge watch them, but there's more than one pizza night at that cafe.
He might sit down for a second. I can't remember.
He sat down with her because remember Katie said to him to sit down because either Ty or Kyle eats her pepperoni, and then she said that she doesn't have to worry about her pepperoni being eaten if the coaches sit in there. So then she go to the arcade, and Coach Maddox gives her quarters to go to the arcade.
Was that in this episode? In episode 2, though?
Okay.
It was either one or two. It was in one of these. But I'm still watching it today.
But it's not the one where Bill comes in, correct? Okay.
No.
I was gonna say there's more than one
I
pizza
think
night.
It was in 2.
So because I didn't see it, so that had to be in the last 20 minutes. So that's just another aspect of Cal's character. That he just, first of all, did he randomly walk around with a pocket full of quarters?
Now, who does that?
Okay, so the last thing I have to talk about, and this is not the end of 2, so if you guys have anything else to say about 2, you're gonna have to put it in because I don't remember. But Cal and Maddie outside the gym.
Mm-hmm.
My note says, "Oh yeah, he digs her."
Oh yeah.
I like when he's like, "Too bad. Maybe you could have worked out sometime." Like,
that's such a cute scene.
It is cute.
Because because she's like so, I mean, just like caught off guard, probably because she hasn't been hit on and like flirted with
or cared
in-
for or anything.
in forever. Because it's, you know, obviously Bill, even being her husband, I'm sure he didn't flirt with her or even say nice things to her. So she's probably not had this sort of attention in forever.
No.
You know, so I really, that's a cute scene.
And
And
the
I
thing
love when she says later to Helen, doesn't she, like, clearly I didn't know he was going to be there, or I would have like put myself together more. And she was just like, you know, wouldn't have looked like this.
clearly it didn't matter. But you know, when I'm starting out with a relationship with the guy, the first thing I want to do is get sweaty in a gym and smell really bad.
Right. But you know what? If they come back after that, you know it's
Yes.
for real. So maybe
Yes.
that's how you should start it.
That's true. That's a good point. All right, episode 2 that you was like, how did it end? Anyone remind us how it ended?
I don't know.
Amanda and Shelby, I think you were the two who watched it.
It ended with Dana Sue opening up Annie's letter with the picture.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
That was the last scene.
Because she threw it away on her way to school that morning, right?
Yeah.
And then she found out when she was cleaning up breakfast.
Yeah.
All right. So if you guys enjoyed this podcast, let us know. We are going to talk so much more about Sweet Magnolias in the coming months because, you know, we can only talk about it, every 5 or 6 episodes?
Mhm.
Something like that. But tomorrow we have a special interview with you, It's Logan Allen and Simone Lockhart who plays Kyle. And I almost called him Kyle Nevin, but that is not his last name in here.
No. Kyle Townsend.
Played Kyle Townsend, and now all I can think of is Nellie Vaughn.
Me too. And I was like, what is it? It's not Nellie Vaughn.
But they played Kyle and Nellie. We got to interview them together. It was really sweet. It was a really fun interview. So check that out tomorrow. That'll be out at 6. And just so you know, our next couple of cast interviews are going to be out on Monday and Thursday. But after our next Thursday one, no more of that. They are just going to take the place of our regular syndicated shows. We don't want to overwhelm you guys or overload you with all the videos that we've been putting out. So we're going to hopefully make it so you only get 2 to watch a week, and maybe that'll make it a little easier for you to divide your time and listen to all of our stuff. But remember, if you are on iTunes or Spotify or really anywhere, you can like our podcast, subscribe to our podcast to get notified when we put new ones out there, when we get new interviews out. We are working on a lot of interviews for you. And the more likes, subscribes, downloads, rates, and shares that we get, the more people we have watching it, the better the content can be that we give you. We have a better leg to stand on to say, you know, we're pressed and we can get more interviews for you and get that going. We know that's what you want to see because that's what we want to see. And we're fans just like you. So if you have any questions or you have any requests or you want to just let us know how we're doing, you can email us at familyfanclub2021@gmail.com. You can find us in our Sweet Magnolias fan group on Facebook called Sweet Magnolias Serenity Family Fan Club. We are on Instagram and Twitter under a Family Fan Club acronym. You can just search Facebook Family Fan Clubs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we have TikTok, same thing, FB Family Fan Clubs. And you can find us there. We are Jeanette and Amanda, I think, and Shelby too. All 3 of you are working on videos putting out there, right?
I'm mainly just Jeanette right now.
Oh, just
Mostly
Jeanette.
me. Yeah.
Well, you can look at our awesome content there. We got some Schitt's Creek stuff for you. We got some, we do have some Sweet Magnolias ones out there. So check us out and let us know what you think. And on that note, we will see you in a week or 2 days, really, because this is a Sunday. And we'll see you on Monday and on Wednesday. So see you soon. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.